Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Your host Talia once again welcome you all to BS level biology program. Students, I hope that this lecture would open up a new world of knowledge for you and it will enlighten you with new facts of life and jewels of knowledge. Now let's welcome our expert, Dr. Muhammad Azad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Sir, what's our topic of discussion for today?
Talia, today we are going to start with the new chapter that is the last module of this session, and that is about evolution. We will be discussing the different theories. We will be discussing about the Lamarckism, Lamarck theory, then Darwin-Wallace's theory of natural selection, and then we'll be going with the different processes which are going to occur as a result of evolution. Dear students, so today this is our last module, and under the title of this module we are going to discuss about the theories of evolution. There are lot of, you can say, the different theories are there about origin of life. So first we will be covering these theories, and then we will be precisely going towards the evolution theory of the natural selection, which is most accepted at the moment. So starting our slideshow about the theories of evolution. There are almost 5 theories about the origin of life. The first theory is steady state theory, and that is going to describe the earth and species on that always existed. So life has no origin, it was always there. A second theory, that is the special creation theory, that the life was created at particular time by a super being, and we are going to call it as a God. Third theory is the spontaneous generation theory. Life arose from non-living matter. Another theory was the cosmozoan theory, that is going to describe that the life arrived on this planet from somewhere else. And the last theory is the biochemical evolution theory, that life arose from combination of simple molecules. Students, basically all of these theories are different ideas are there. So there is no proof against these. Being a Muslim, we are going to believe in special creation theory. But as a biologist, so that is the God that has created the life by a specific process, and we can say that is the biochemical evolution theories. So you can say event is going to occur, that is the Big Bang theory, and that resulted in the, you can say, the origin of certain basic molecules like amino acid, and then they joined together to give us the larger organic molecule, which resulted into origin of a cell, which is the basic building unit of life. So going with the detail of this event which has occurred, going with the Big Bang theory, a cosmic explosion that hurled matter and in all direction created the universe 10 to 20 billion years ago. So the evidence in the favor of theory, that it explains why distant galaxies are traveling away from us at a great speeds. Cosmic radiations from the explosion can be observed, but the Big Bang theories is going to leave a number of tough unanswered questions. What was the status of early Earth? So Earth was very hot, and there was little or no oxygen was present on the Earth. The gases which were there in the atmosphere, so these were hydrogen cyanide, hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen and water. So how did the Earth get oxygen? Some of that oxygen was generated by photosynthetic cyanobacteria, that is a blue-green algae, and some of the oxygen came from chemical separation of water molecules into oxygen and hydrogen. Oxygen drove some life forms to extinction. Others evolved way of using oxygen for the purpose of respiration. Going with the Miller and Urey's experiment to prove how did life begin, so they passed sparks through a mixture of hydrogen, methane, ammonia and water. So This is the electrical sparks which they have passed, and this produced amino acid, the building blocks of life, by a combination of these different molecules. Miller's experiments suggest that lightning could have produced amino acids, which are the basic building units of proteins. If we are going to go with the evolution, so this is a process that have transformed life on the earth from its earliest form to the vast diversity that characterize it today, a change in gene. So basically this is the descent with modification. Each living species has descended with changes from other species over the period of time. All living things share a common ancestor. We can draw a tree of life. This is the tree of life having lot of branches to show how many species are related. Evolution is the process by which one species give rise to another, and the tree of life is going to grow. Going with the old theories of evolution, one is the Lamarck theory or Lamarckism, proposed in early 1800s, and that is going to say the inheritance of acquired characters. He proposed that by using or not using its body part, an individual tends to develop certain characteristics which it passes on to the offspring. So he described the giraffe. The examples that giraffe acquired its legs, its long neck as well as the legs, because its ancestors stretched higher and higher into the trees to reach the leaves, and that the animal's increasingly lengthened neck was passed on to its offspring. Students, so the summary of the Lamarck theory is that basically the individuals are going to use and disuse different part of their body. So those parts which are used, they are progressively increasing in size and complexity, and those which are not used, so they are progressively going to diminish in size as well as in their complexity, and they become the vestigial organs. So these traits which are acquired by use and disuse over a period of time, now these can be inherited to the offspring. This was the main idea of Lamarck theory, which was not proved later on. Actually, two more other scientists, one was the Charles Darwin and other was the Wallace. So they worked independently and they put forward their research paper, and many points they were common in both of these research papers. So later on a theory was evolved, and that was the Darwin-Wallace's theory. So going with the work of Darwin and Wallace, Charles Darwin was influenced by the work of Charles Lyell, who published the Principle of Geology. This publication led Darwin to realize that natural forces gradually change Earth's surface, and that the forces of the past are still operating in the modern times. The Darwin set sail on the ship Beagle to survey the South Seas, mainly the South America and Galapagos Islands. So this was the South America, and this is that islands which was basically surveyed by the Darwin. So Darwin observed species that lived nowhere else in the world. These observations led Darwin to write a book. What did Darwin's travels reveal? The diversity of living species was far greater than anyone had previously known. These observations led him to develop the theory of evolution. How did tortoise and birds differ among the islands of the Galapagos? So each island has its own type of tortoise and birds that were clearly different from other birds. Like these birds, so if we are going to go with their habits, so these are going to eat seeds, these birds are going to eat leaves, these are going to eat insects, these are going to eat buds and fruits. So different variety was there. Similarly, these are the turtles which were there on that islands, and you can see the different form. This turtle is different from that, and that is different from that. So evolution is when organisms change over a period of time, and modern organism descended from their ancestor. So you can observe here the life origin may be like that, and then this is the shape like fishes, and then these are the amphibia, reptilias, and ultimately it is mimicking with the humans. So these are just theoretical pictures which are being developed to describe the process of evolution. So evolution is just like a gravity. So initially this was the form like that, and then this is the erect posture which was obtained by the human beings. Charles Darwin wrote a book in 1859, and the title of book was On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection. This is the first page, title page of that book. Two main points were there. First point was there that species were not created in their present form, but they evolved from ancestral species, and he proposed a mechanism for evolution, that is the natural selection.
So we have heard from a lot of people, and it's a common concept among the people, that human beings have evolved from apes and monkeys. So would you like to put some light upon this fact?
Yes, Talia. So this is a common concept which is there in biology, that evolution is there in the form of steps, and they are going to relate that we are going to evolve from the various, you can say, the species of monkey. But actually there is no concrete proof anywhere. No scientists have any proof to support this hypothesis. So these are just hypotheses. These are just the theories. Being a Muslim, so we are having the firm belief that it is a special creation theory, that it is the super being, the God, has created the humans at a specific time. So we are created directly as a human being, as a Muslim. So this is the special creation theory we are going to believe in, right?
Fine.
Students, so basically we are going to go with these, you can say, some of the ideas and theories which are there. So we have to go with these ideas, and we have to trace, you can say, how the individuals are going to change. So there are certain biological principles which we are going to observe under the theory of natural selection. Going with our slides. So basically natural selections, the individuals with the favorable traits are more likely to leave from offspring better suited for their environment, also known as differential reproduction. Let's say, going with this example, so there are beetles of the two different colors, green and brown. Let's say these are the birds, and these birds are going to eat more of these, you can say, the green beetles. So it is favorable diet for these birds. Then what is going to happen? So these green beetles, they are going to decrease in number progressively, and ultimately the brown beetles, they will be more in numbers. So what was there? So they are having the selective advantage because they are not being predated, while the greens, they are having a selective disadvantage because they are being consumed by the predators. Another scientist, Malthus, reasoned that if the human population continued to grow unchecked, sooner or later there would be insufficient living space and food for everyone. So this will be the position of our globe. It is going to burst, and so this will be the situation if overpopulation or overproduction is there. Darwin and Wallace, so both of these, so they have gone with these ideas, and basically the Wallace was one of the naturalist and explorer. He developed essentially almost the same theory of evolution by natural selection as Darwin. The two shared the credits for the discovery, and this is a rare example of diplomacy in 19th century. So this is the Darwin and this is the Wallace. Both of these theories, they are fused together to form the Darwin-Wallace's theory. If we are going to go with the summary of this theory is going to state the first point, overproduction, that organisms are going to produce more offspring than survive. Stability of population, natural population tend to remain stable in a size. These were the two observations by these two scientists. The third is the deduction. They deduced from these observations that there is struggle for existence. Organisms compete for their resources. Another observation was variation among population. Organisms are going to differ in their inheritance, and then this is the survival of the fittest. Organism with the advantages that is going to survive, and that fittest individual is selected by the nature, that is natural selection. Species alive today are the most suited to the current environment. Going with the tendency of overproduction, there was 12 pair of rabbits from Great Britain. They were released in one of the area in the Australia which was having lot of green grass, and there is a tendency of overproduction. You can see in this picture a lot of rabbits were there. All of these are the offspring of these 12 rabbits which were released there. These rabbits are different from each other. So why the variation in the population is there? So there is two main processes are there. One is the mutation, change in DNA, another is the gene shuffling from sexual reproductions. So these are the variation. Individuals, all of these are the humans, and these are the girls, the women, and all of these are different from each other. So why they are different from each other? Students, so one was the observation of tendency of overproduction. Normally, how many brothers and sisters you are? I think so, more than 2, but some may be 1. But if we are going to have a survey among a group, so normally more than 2 offspring is there, while our parents 1 father and 1 mother. So more offspring is usually, if you go with the example of paramecium. Paramecium is a unicellular organism, and that is going to divide 3 times in a day. If all of the offspring remain alive, then within 5 years 10,000 times mass of earth the paramecium is going to be produced. Similarly, the codfish is going to give millions of eggs. If all of these eggs are fertilized, then whole of the sea will be full of these codfish. But normally it does not happen. There are some limiting factors are there. There is limitation of space, limitation of food, lot of, you can say, other factors they are going to influence. So if more population is there, there is definitely a competition for the food, a competition for the space and for the nutrients, water and everything. So who is going to succeed to live? That is the survival of the fittest, because the variation is there among population. And why the variations are there? So if you are going to recall our previous lectures, so there is normal way of variation and abnormal. And what is the normal mechanism of variation? So you must have gone with 1 crossing over, 2nd random assortment of chromosome, 3rd random fusion of gamete, and the 4th general cause, that is the random mating of individuals. So these are normally occurring. And 1 was the abnormal cause of mutation, and these are the different variety of mutations which are going to give us the variation. So every individual in the universe, with only 1 exception, and what is that? Identical twins. With the exception of identical twins, all living organisms are different from each other. So due to these variation, those which are better adapted in the environment, they are going to grow, and others they are going to progressively decrease in numbers. So going with our you can say the example of these rabbits. So there was variation among the coloring of rabbits. This was a brownish you can say the color rabbits called as a agouti color. They are having a greenish tinge also, and then these are the albinos, and these are the chinchilla, and these are the Himalayan coloring of rabbits. So these are the 4 coloring variation among rabbits. So normally what was there initially, because the green grass is there, so this color, that is agouti color, that was going to hide again the green grass, and these white colors, they were very distinct. So what happened, that predators are going to having the predation of these white colored rabbits, and this was the common color. These individuals are having the chance to proliferate. What was there? Suddenly there was a snowfall, and heavy snowfall was there in that area. All of this was the snow. Now the white rabbits, they are going to hide against this white background, and these agouti color rabbits, they are very distinct. So what was there? The agouti color rabbit, brownish rabbit, so they start decreasing in number because they are easily predated, and these white rabbits, though they start increasing in number. So that is the survival of the fittest. In the first example, the agouti color rabbits were fit to survive. In the second, these are the white color rabbits which were there to survive in that environment. So wherever there limitation of food, the competition is there, so those who are fit to survive in that environment, they are going to grow. The Hardy-Weinberg principle is going to state that the population will remains in constant, the alleles combination or allelic frequency will remain the same if population size is large, random mating of individual is there is no mutation, no genes are introduced or lost, and no selection is going to occur. So if we are going to look at mechanism of evolution, looking at this animation showing us the mechanism of evolution. So basically evolution is a change in the population alleles and genotype from generation to generation. Consequently, the evolution must be considered at the population levels rather than at the level of the small sized individuals. So there are 5 factors that alter the proportion of heterozygosity or homozygosity. So this is the genetic drift, gene flow, mutations, non-random mating, and the natural selection that is going to occur. So small populations drawn from a large population may not be representative of the larger gene pool. Genetic drift is the change in the gene pool that occurs in the small population due to chance. Two situations can lead to genetic drift. Either the population bottleneck occurs when large number of populations are removed by disease, overhunting, overfishing, or the natural disasters which are going to occur. The founding of the new colonies by small number of individuals can also result in genetic drift. This is called as founding effects. Gene flow in the environment is also going to occur, and that is the movement of allele from one population to another population. This can cause the change in frequency of allele. The variety of allele carried by the new member of population can significantly affect the gene pool, and the new number has a good survival rate. Another factor is the mutation, and mutation is change in organisms DNA. We have already discussed in detail. This change is going to produce the new individuals. So mutations are also going to add the new alleles in a population, and the cumulative effect of mutation is going to occur at the main gene loci. Mutation provides the ultimate source of genetic variability and hence the raw material for the purpose of evolutionary change. However, mutation play a relatively insignificant roles in populations of frequency of the population. So these mutants which are there, that is of wild type, they are going to appear, and then they are going to maintain the principles of Hardy-Weinberg in the gene pool. Mating between an individual must be random. Reproduction, in which the preferred organism mate may cause an increase in the number of a specific population. So there should be a random mating instead of a selected mating. Mating should be a random. Population consists of individuals with different genetic makeups, some of whom are more successful at leaving offspring than the others. So these are the red variant, which are more visible to the birds predators, and these are the blue variants, these are less visible to the birds predators. So they are having a selective advantage to grow in this population, and they are having a selective disadvantage. So they are going to decrease in number progressively. Students, so these were the phenomena that how the various steps are going to occur. So we have to discuss the two examples of evolution, that is one of the peppered moth, that is the Bistone betullaria, and other is of antibiotic resistance. So what was this Bistone betullaria? This was one of the peppered moth, and this moth is an example of natural selection, and this was of two varieties, light and dark patches. During the Industrial Revolution, the trees on which the moth rested become soot covered, they become darker in appearance. Now this pale color moth was easily visible and it is predated, and this dark color was being selected. So this is selected against the allele for the pale color in the population, which were poorly camouflaged from the predators, and selected for the dark color alleles. The second example is of that of antibiotic resistance. We are all familiar with the way that certain bacteria can become resistant to antibiotics. So this is an example of natural selection in action. The antibiotic acts as an environmental pressure. It weeds out those bacteria with the low resistance, and only those with the high resistance survive to reproduce. Students, so in brief we can state the principles of natural selection theory. The first, that is the tendency of overproduction. Then this is the constancy of numbers, struggle for existence, survival of the fittest, and these fittest individuals, they are selected by the nature, that is the natural selection. And that's all for today.
Thank you so much, sir, for today's informative and eye-opening lecture.
Welcome.
So students, it's a time for the lecture summary. In today's lecture, we discussed about theories of evolution. First of all, we discussed about Lamarck's theory of inheritance of acquired traits, and then we also discussed about Darwin and Wallace's theory of natural selection. Students, I hope that this lecture has clarified many of the confusions in your mind, and our expert has been able to explain those profused concepts which are at times difficult to grasp. With this, we reach the end of our today's program. Inshallah, see you in the next program with more facts of life. Till that time, take care of yourself and Allah Hafiz.